I should have I should do entry music like, WWE style.
Bum, 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 bum. No, that's copyrighted. Sorry.
Oh shoot! Don't flag us. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Chrissy, and welcome to my channel. I'm here to do an author interview today with E.G. Creel. She is a dark fantasy writer, and she has 3 books out. Well, one of them is in pre-order, so you should go check that out. But we have the Immortal, Lily, and Gina. I read the Immortal, so if you want to give your summary of the Immortal.
You are so cool for reading The Immortal. Thank you, by the way. This is the paperback cover, and it's a novella or a short novel, depending on who you want to argue with. And it's about a 40-year-old woman, Emma, who decides she's overworked and underappreciated, and she decides to finally take some her time and goes on a vacation of a lifetime in the French Polynesia, only to nearly miss being killed by a bunch of immortal Vikings in a culling. And so I like that you have a main character who's a little more mature. You don't have this 20-year-old something who's trying to please people.
Yeah, you don't like I've just been seeing an uptick now in older protagonists. So what made you decide to have a more mature character, so someone in their 40s?
Oh, I think Emma kind of came out of me. Yeah, I'm having a midlife crisis of my own, I suppose. It was right before I turned 40, and it started off as a dream where I was the one being cold. And I was in a resort and everyone was dying around me, and I found sanctuary in a library. And when I looked, all of the books were the exact same book written over and over again, but in different languages. And I looked in the corner and there was a man there who looked oddly calm, considering everybody was being murdered. And he just kind of smiled at me. And I was pretending to read a book, and it ended up being in Portuguese. And I realized that he was the author, and he must be really old if he had written all these books, the same story over and over again. And so, yeah, then when I woke up, I kept thinking about it. Who could he be? Who would he be? And then I thought, he's a Viking. He's a Viking king. He's an immortal Viking king. What if Bjorn Ironside really was immortal? And down the Google rabbit hole I went, and out came this fun little nugget of entertainment.
Hey. So you label that as dark fantasy. Can you give a brief summary of what you think, or not what you think, but what a dark fantasy is and what kind of expectations readers should have going into dark fantasy?
So when I wrote this, my very first time I ever tried writing anything, I didn't understand what genres were,
Ah.
or where. It's basically where it would be on a bookshelf if you sold it. And so it's got a little bit of horror. It's contemporary fantasy. It's if I had to compare it to an author, I would say Neil Gaiman. If I dare, I would say a little twisted but entertaining. So yes, no button eyes, but we do eat us some hearts. And so dark fantasy or contemporary fantasy seemed to fit the bill, because obviously it's not really paranormal fantasy, and all the different things have subgenres. So I started with, okay, is it nonfiction or fiction, then fantasy, then it's not urban, and I ended up with dark, because it's a little gruesome, but it's not like Stephen King where you're going to want to bind the book and put it in a locked closet and stare at it and hope the closet door doesn't ever open again. It's not that scary.
Well, and I think one of the themes with this book is kind of just a theme of survival.
Yes.
With the main character, because she gets placed in the situation where she's pretty much has to either go along with things or get killed.
Right.
So,
what would you do, right? And you're not Emma's not a hero. She's not a hero. She's not someone who's going to pick up well, there is some stabby. She has her moments where she does try, but I mean, really, what are you going to do when the odds are against you? You're going to go with the flow and make yourself as useful as possible. So that's what Emma does.
When you first started out writing, was that kind of the main thought process where you're like, I'm not making her a hero? Or were you like, she's going to be a hero, and then you're like, no, she's not going to be a hero later on?
I had no idea that this was going to turn into anything. It was a dumb dream that I couldn't get out of my head. And so I thought, I'm going to write down a paragraph. And then that paragraph turned into a chapter and turned into 46,000 words in 6 weeks. I had
Nice.
never had anything like that. It was vomit. It just went what?
It
All my
just had
time
to come
dreams
out.
then.
I feel like I should have had a blue slushy
Yeah.
for that.
So I had no idea what was going to happen. Emma completely surprised me. The character surprised me. I had the ideas of who I was going to kill and who I was going to survive. And then the characters had their own ideas and said, you don't know me. How dare you assume that you can outwit an immortal? So that's why there's so many twists in the book, because I didn't see him coming.
Oh, okay. Nice. I like that. So Immortal came out in October 2021. We've been seeing an uptick in books that kind of came out during pandemic era. Was it just Dream, or we were like, you know what, this is the right time because Dream plus, lockdown stuff still happening.
Yeah, my doctor said, so it's a COVID book. And I said, well, I guess COVID, midlife crisis. It was just everyone has a story, and mine came out at that
Okay.
moment. Yeah. But okay, feed my ego a little bit. What did you think? What was your outtake of The Immortal?
So I liked that it was a story about survival, and I didn't know what to think of it at first. Admittedly, I didn't look up what the genre was or anything. I was just like, we're doing the interview. I'm reading the book. Let's go.
Surprise!
So surprise! Like I saw your pitch on with the Cheesemay video, and I was well, that sounds like a really interesting start to it because
I
I think
love
you
that. Yeah, that was great.
the pitch was that this
Talk
lady
to me like
gets a
it's gossip.
vacation. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
so lady sees everyone else killed, runs into someone. Is he eating a heart? Yes, and I was like, that's a good start point. Like I think like I was really impressed with the first part of that book because I think when you're writing, and it's still something that I'm working on with my own work, is you want something that hooks people quick,
Yeah,
right?
punch him
So
in the face. I don't have time for
exactly.
long-winded descriptions of fountains.
Exactly. So like granted I could go either way, but when something manages to grab right off the gate and start in action, I really like that. It sets the pace for the rest of the book. And I really liked that Emma was just a survivor. I thought it was going to be a dark romance because as I said, I didn't look up genres, and TikTok is like known for pushing
The
romance a lot,
spice.
right? Yes,
The spice.
spicy
So here's
romance,
the thing
dark.
with the spicy. I thought I wasn't going to have any spice in it. And then my mom said, is this a book for adults? And I said, yes. And then she said, you have to have sex in it. And I was like, okay, I'll just do a little something, something, like nothing too, it was like really weird. And then I got kind of all nervous writing my first smut scene. And I thought, I can't put my name on this. I have to use my initials.
So not that. That's you know what pseudonym is coming up.
Yeah. I was like, what am I going to name myself? Because I cannot. Like that's, I am just a little too whoo.
So when I first started reading this, I actually thought it was going to be a dark romance because as I said, I didn't look up genre. I didn't look really anything past getting it on my Kindle and starting. And so when I was reading it, I thought that was where it was going, and I was pleasantly surprised when it wasn't because I like granted I have no qualms with dark romance. I've read a few of them, liked a few of them, and it's fine, but sometimes like when I'm reading them, I'm like, this guy's acting like such a bleep 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 that I
But
just
he's
want
a
her to
billionaire, so he gets away
yeah.
with it.
And so I just want the other character to like, why are they staying kind of thing. And in Emma's case, I was like, it makes sense why she's going along with this. Like it's either you go along with it or you die. And I thought that was a really just great premise throughout the book. Now I'm a picky person, and I like while I will read a novella, I will always prefer like 1,000 pages. Like sometimes getting
Girl,
into detail.
you got
So I
kids
think
and
if
you
I
can
had
still
any,
pick up one of those chunks of.
I do. But that's because I only read in small spurts, and sometimes I have to run away from my child, but that's a whole nother. Just kidding. It's a whole nother thing. The Kindle has been great for that. for, for long books. So I think that was my one thing. If but that's a picky thing of me. Like that's not a reflection on the book at all.
Yeah, I write
More of a
donuts. I
picky.
understand. You're looking for 4 courses and dessert and right, I get you, but no, I'm here just to fulfill a midnight snack, a craving,
Yeah.
just an in-between layover kind of thing. Mhm.
Yes. I don't want to give spoilers, but I was impressed with your ending. I liked
Thank
it.
you.
I liked that. I wasn't sure where it was gonna go, and I thought it was gonna go in a whole other way, but I liked it. I was like, you know what? Makes sense.
It
It's
makes sense. It had to go that way.
yeah, like sometimes I think like and not that I have any at the top of my head, but sometimes I think there might sometimes be pressure to do this like happy ever after, like everything packaged up in a box, or at the very least, like every question answered, or no question answered. Like it seems to go into either extremes, and so this I think was a good medium. Like not everything's answered, but you get something satisfying at the end.
That is the word I hear over and over again is satisfying. If there
Nice.
isn't a category for revenge romance, there is now.
Well, and like, okay, so I'm gonna give a small bit of it, but I thought that was one of the more um, true to life, uh, like spice scenes, like the way that Emma feels
Yes, yeah,
afterwards. I was
yeah.
like,
Okay, we can say
you
it.
know
Bjorn's
what?
not a good lover, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
just
not
like
this hunk of chunk of gonna get you going. He's just, kinda average.
yeah, and like that one, I said that's where I knew it wasn't gonna be a full romance or anything that where we weren't gonna get that, and I was like, you know what, I'm okay with that. I like that.
I wrote this book for women.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I wrote this book for women. We can be real with each other.
Exactly. So it sounds like, as far as writing styles goes, getting the book out, sounds like that was a little bit of pantsing because you just wanted to get that story out. It was kind of like
I
just
didn't even know what pantsing meant, but absolutely by the seat of my pantsing. I didn't know. I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't know what the rules were. You know what I did? I watched a commercial from a master class for Neil Gaiman where he says there are no rules. And I said, "Ah, there are no rules." And that's what I did. And then I made it the best story I could possibly tell, and I didn't want any fat, and I didn't want any parts where people would skip paragraphs or pages because they got bored and they wanted to know what happened next. I wanted ADHD in a book.
Mhm. Nice. So
Yeah.
when did you have the decision? Because you said that this was just a book that had to come out of you because it was just perseverating so long. When did you make the decision to actually put out into the world?
Oh, well, I guess I have very little fear of rejection because I just expect it. I'm like, "Meh, nobody's gonna read this book, so I'm gonna die. No one's gonna know who I am. Who gives a, like,
Mm-hmm.
let's just put it out there." So I started looking up traditional things and I tried to apply for a literary agent. And then I realized they would never pick me because my book's too short and I only wrote one book. They want people that do series, which makes sense because they're looking for money. And I'm like, I am never writing anything ever again. This is my one and done.
At
So
lies, apparently, but
I don't know me. I don't who do I think I am. But I know it wasn't the mold of the traditional publisher. What I learned about it, I said, I don't fit here. So I went the way of doing it myself, and I took the advice of getting a professional editor, which was almost made me quit. That was almost what broke me, and I decided, who am I? And I got hit real hard with imposter syndrome
Ooh,
because I went on to, what is it, Redsy, and I
okay.
looked and I put in, to hire an editor, and you send them a little bit of your manuscript, and they all wrote me back and said, no, you need to polish this better. This isn't ready for us to edit.
Oh wow.
And I'm dyslexic, and I took that as a, like, it's crap. And this is as good as I can do it. You know, I got Grammarly, I told the story the best I could, but beyond this, I don't know where a comma goes, apparently, you know? So that was the best I could do. I couldn't go beyond that where I was. And so I thought, well, if I can't get an editor, then that's it. And then I went into a group, a really nice group online on Facebook.
Okay.
And I said, I kind of I vented a little bit. I said, I don't know if I can do this. I have dyslexia, and I found a really nice editor who edits all my stuff now. She's like, "Psh, this
Oh,
isn't that
good.
bad. I've seen way worse. I don't know what they're talking about. They're being
Yeah,
snobs. Let's just get it done, finished." And I was like,
that
thank
does
you.
seem so strange to
Like, it's
me.
so strange. She's
Just
like, what's up? They just don't want to do it because it's short and they don't get paid enough. Is what I think it is.
ah,
They looked at the
mhm.
word count and said no.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like what would like I. Granted, I am not an editor. I don't know if I'd have the skill set to be able to be one, but I don't know. I'm like, what would be like where I'd be like, nah,
Yeah, I think it was a
I
word
mean,
count
that's
thing. They
odd.
didn't want to bother with it, which is too bad. She did a real good job. I still had a ton of mistakes. And I learned that, it's a really good idea to listen to your book back to yourself, have the computer read it to you because you find so
Mhm.
many, stirring, steering, whipped, wiped, eliminated,
Yes.
illuminated kind of like mistakes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
also Googled famous authors that are dyslexic, and Agatha Christie was dyslexic, and that didn't stop her from
Oh,
selling 4 billion books. So
there you go. Well,
shame
I'm
on me
glad
for
that you're
limiting
not.
myself.
Yeah, don't do that. Well, I'm glad that you found someone who
Yeah.
was not being a little bit on the snobby side of that. So that's an interesting thing. I never even thought that would be a thing. In all honesty, that
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
it was 18 editors said no to me that I tried to hire.
Wow.
Oh, man. And I
Yeah.
was like, but I have a good story here. I just need it edited. I've done the
Yeah.
best I can with what I can do. And I've learned a
Mhm.
lot from that, and especially that's why it's so important to find the right people to work with. Once you find the editor that is good for you, I mean, it's gold. It's beyond gold. And the right formatter, same thing. The right cover designer, it's just like a magic dream team.
Yeah, I love that. I was actually about to ask, did you use a cover designer or did you do your
Oh yeah.
own?
So for the white cover, I did the blood ring myself because I'm a photographer, and
Hmm.
the on the hardback, excuse me, I think I have to sneeze. A friend of mine, a
Nice.
graphic designer, did that for me. And then
Okay.
for the paperback, I used a cover designer, Olivia Pro Designs. She's in the Ukraine. And so you basically find the picture you want, and then she'll turn it into a cover. And she only charges like 30 bucks.
Oh, nice.
So cheap ass cover,
There
but looks
you
good.
go.
And then for Lily, this was a cover. I actually found a wonderful author on TikTok who said, hey, I want to make some covers for people to practice using Canva. And I said, okay, here, make me a cover. So she made Lily.
Oh, nice. So,
Yeah.
what's Lily about?
Oh, let me tell her name first. Tina Harvey.
Tina Harvey did the cover design.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Lily is about a girl born with a shadow,
Hmm.
and only minutes old, it's already a killer. It's a very short, it's like a grim dark fantasy. So it's almost like a
Okay.
fairy tale for adults. It's kind of narrated like a bedtime story. And Lily is born without a twin. Her people are Dubins, and Dubins always have twins. And so since Lily
Okay.
was born as an only child, she's considered to have a shadow.
Okay.
And then it's the
Now,
misadventure that happens.
of the misadventure
Yeah.
afterwards. Okay. Should she suffer the consequences for actions she has no control of? Sorry, I have your books up on
Yes.
my screen.
Yes. Hmm.
Excellent. I love that. Now, is Lily another dream turned into book, or was this one like just a concept idea that you had? Did you plot it? Did you pants it?
Oh, always pantsing, but it came up with the first line about a girl born with a shadow. And I did kind of have a dream about a kid who was brought to different villages and abandoned, and that this child would have like this bad karma that would follow, bad things would happen when they when this child showed up. So then they would try to punish the child or kill the child, but then more misfortune would happen. And that was just like a hint of a something of a memory of a dream that happened a while ago. And then I thought, okay, let's turn this into something. And it also ended up, without my knowing, it turned into a crossover of characters. You're going to find out what happens to Stacy. You remember Stacy? He gets on the water horse, and
Oh, yeah.
you're going to find out what happened to him in here.
Oh, so it's like slightly interconnected stories,
Yeah, he
standalone.
just showed up, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Hey, Stacy. I wanted to know what happened to you. I wasn't sure. Were you dead? Were you alive? What happened to you? There he is.
That's all. Hey now.
Wow, get a little bit older." Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's funny. So your books are audiobook formatted. Well, one
Yes.
of them is. Lily is. Is
Lily
the
and
Immortal?
the Immortal
Yes.
are both audiobook. And Gina will be as well. That will be recorded in December. And yeah, Lily and Gina both started off, they have episodes instead of chapters because I wrote them on Kindle
Ah.
Vella.
Oh, okay. That's
Mhm.
cool. How does Kindle Vella work? So I've looked at that. I know that you can purchase like credits and then you
Yeah.
purchase like episodes per credits. But sorry, if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about how that works? Because it's still very new to me.
Sure. So if you're brand new to Kindle Vella, they'll give you free tokens, either 200 or 500. A token is worth about a penny. So it's about $1.99 worth of tokens. And then depending on the word count is how many tokens it costs. So if 600 words equals 6 tokens, 700 words, 7 tokens.
Right.
And so if you
Okay.
have a story where they want 13 or 18 tokens, it's because it's 1,800 words. So you're paying per word count.
Okay.
Yeah. And for an author, it's amazing because it's in beta and Amazon is paying bonuses for every single episode I post. So I'm getting, I want to guess like around 20 or a little more dollars per episode I post.
Oh, nice.
And that has been such an amazing help to be able to pay for my editors and my formatter, and everything is basically paid for thanks to Amazon. I mean, I would not be able to make this money back in a traditional sense, or putting the stuff online. I would be in the hole. So I'm almost even. I'm almost broke even when I publish because of Kindle Vella.
Oh, nice. So when like, and I said new to me. I know that some people are like in their like 90th chapters because I was skimming it the other day. But for you and your process, do you write the whole work already done, edited, and then just publish the chapters as episodes, or do you kind of just do it as you go?
I try to do one a week, and I'll write out the episode, and the first 3 episodes are free. So before, like, I try to write at least 2 or 3 out to make sure I've got a story going. And
Right.
then that also gives me like a little bit of a cushion, but that cushion's gone now. And I'm behind a week. But
It
yeah, and,
happens.
and so then I write out the story, and then I listen to it. I listen back to it on my Word to make sure the words are right, to make sure it's as polished as I can make it. And then I publish it. And I keep all of them short, between 6 and 800 words, so they're really easy to digest. And then when it's done, you hit complete and you wait for 30 days, and then you can publish it. You can publish it as a paperback or ebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
But
very
then,
cool. Thank
I
you.
use that 30 days then to get a professional editor to really clean it up and make it the best version it can be.
Oh, very awesome. So you can put out the episodes afterwards, put them all together, get it edited, and then publish your
Yeah.
uh, full. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
And you have money to publish it then.
Yeah, no kidding. That
And
would
you
be
blow it. You blow it all, but but it's better than not having the money and digging a hole and hoping that the launch will go good and that you'll get the money back, because wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah. Because getting your book out there, like there's conversations going around how there's just so many books and so many stories that there's a little bit of oversaturation, right? So how do you necessarily get your book in front of readers? And it
Yeah, you
sounds
need
like,
hype. You
yeah,
need
you
hype.
need
You
high.
need someone who
You,
can vouch for it.
yeah. So like you kind of almost need the viralness to help you out to get people to even to get it in front of people. Now, we talked about Kindle Vella being one of the ways that you're one, recouping costs and kind of marketing at the same time. But I'm always interested in marketing and how that's going for people. What are some things that have either A, worked well for you, or that you tried and you're like, this is not working?
Oh, I know nothing, and nothing works for me. But TikTok is wonderful. Hashtag book talk. Always hashtag your author name. Always hashtag your book titles, so that if someone so it keeps the stuff together. I hashtag my work as a photographer as well, and
Mhm.
so I know that the power of the tag is there, even if you don't think it is. Also, I mean, I think it's a little illegal to use the music if you don't have the license for it, if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to sell something. But if you use
Ah,
a popular song, the popular songs do better than just the regular songs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Art, I make my own art on Midjourney, and I made cards with Midjourney art. I don't know if you can see some of them. So like it has characters.
Oh, nice. So do you do all the illustrations in, like, I saw the illustration of in Lily.
No, I that was before Midjourney existed,
Ah.
but I had a lovely artist in Italy who did me a few sketches up for a reasonable price. I think it was like $35 per image. So, I mean, it's great to support local artists, but it's
Yeah.
also, that's another expense for if I'm lucky, sell 200 books. That's if
Yeah.
I am lucky to. And if most of them are 99 cents when I'm selling them, that's a
Mhm.
35-cent profit. I can't afford to pay someone, $35 for an image to paint in my book. So I got the subscription to Midjourney, for $30 and just did
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Do you ever find that people have a misconception about indie publishing, that it's really like it's free, just write the book and then publish it, and then wow, people
oh yeah,
get your
people
book?
tell you it's free and how easy it is and how they give you an ISBN number and everything. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But what kind, if you're going to put a quality work out there, you need a team to do it. You cannot wear every single hat unless you have some degree that taught you all these things, or you have experience in all of these things, or the talent and all. And even then, that cost you money to get.
Hmm.
If you went to school and got a degree, that cost you money to get. I didn't go to a school to get a degree, so I pay an editor who did.
Hmm. I like that. Yeah, that's so true. Like I it before going on social media and going into the book realms, I didn't know what went into indie publishing, but it costs a lot. It costs a lot.
And the bigger your book, the more it's going to cost, and then you have to still charge it the same as, I mean, I can charge the same amount for this book as someone who has a 1,000-page book.
Yeah, because there's been a whole debate about pricing on ebooks lately, and where people are saying like whether or not you should price it on the higher end of the spectrum or on the lower end of the spectrum. But there seems to be like, it's, I don't want to say lose lose situation there, but it's kind of like uh, a
I've
really
tried. I've
frustrating.
tried doing the higher end to try to get people to get the ebooks, or not the ebooks, to get the audiobooks.
Mm.
Audiobooks has been my biggest loss. Paying narrators is expensive.
Oh, I bet. I was hearing some of the cost breakdowns.
Yeah, like an average is 250 per finished hour, but they do a lot of work. But there's some that are high on the higher end, but that's like an average. So depending on how long your book is how many hours are you going to have to pay
Oh my
a
goodness.
narrator for? Yeah.
Shoot, dang.
So, and I have sold very few of those. ACX is who I go through for the audiobook, and they give you 25 free codes, US codes, and 25 free UK codes. So 50 free codes per book. And I can't give those things away. I'm like, hey, do you want a free book? And people are like, no. You
So
want
hey,
something?
hey, hey.
You want some drugs? I'll probably say yeah to that. They
I was
won't say
trying
no to
to.
free book. I still have some left over, or then some people will listen to it, and some people are really nice and they will leave reviews, which is lovely. It's always appreciated to get an honest review from someone. So thank you. Thank you. This
Yes.
is one. But
Now,
yeah, I mean,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
oh, I don't know. I was just talking. What's up?
um, with reviews, have you ever read your own reviews? And would
I
you?
do all the time, and I take every single one personally. Absolutely, 100%. And I'm like, you don't know Emma the way I know Emma. And even if it's like a 3-star, I'm like, that's not good. And then I call myself together and I'm like, oh, thank you for the review. You're wonderful. Love you. XOXO. I'm very immature and horrible, and I take everything literal. And yeah, but then I calm down and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. You know, not everyone likes Star Wars. There's weird people out there. It's okay.
I think as long as you're not stalking people, there's an author who did that, like stalked one of
No,
their
no, I would
reviewers.
never, ever, ever. No,
Yeah, yeah, no,
no
no.
contact.
I
I
like
read it.
I
I have a pity party at home by myself. No, I would never contact them and argue with them. That is so amateur.
yes, I think if I ever do, and I don't know if I will, but if I ever do publish a work, I think I'm probably gonna go the route that you're going, is like read it and then cry silently in a corner somewhere and be like, they don't understand how
This is my excuse to have a big cinnamon roll because I need comfort.
I'm gonna go buy a tiramisu cake and eat it all
You
by
don't know me.
myself.
I don't need this.
As my husband's looking on like,
Yeah. Yeah. They found a comma that was in the wrong place.
I had a misspelling. Don't
I
look
can't
at
do it
me.
anymore. I don't handle criticism in a healthy way. Maybe I should work on that.
My degree was in creative writing for my bachelor's, right?
Oh.
And yeah, you have to go through workshops, and I think that will be my only help that I'll have if I ever do get published and get reviews, because until you sit in a room full of people who tell you that your memoir-esque story has a horrible main character where you are the main character and that they don't like you. Crying in a hallway, be like,
I'm not a basic bitch. I can't.
I wasn't trying to go that direction.
It's hard. You got to have a thick skin, and I understand now why authors are so loving to each other and how they're supportive of each other, and they are like a support group. And when I first went into this, I was like, wow, these are really nice women. They're so helpful and considerate, and the way they reply to things is so professional and beautiful. Now I get it, because they have been hurt.
Yeah, they were in the trenches.
Woo, they have gone through some. Yeah, it's some deep duty out there.
Oh my goodness.
They tough. They're survivors. So yeah, but no, I mean, and I haven't even got, like, knock on wood, but I haven't even gotten a 1-star yet, and this is just me being dramatic, like, serious. I'm waiting.
I don't
for
know.
it to
I
happen.
think my husband asked me this last night because I'm doing NaNoWriMo, and I'm sorry to talk about myself in an interview that's about you.
No,
but...
I love. Tell me more.
So I'm doing NaNoWriMo, and I've always wanted to have a book published since I was very, very small, right? And so now is the year that I'm like, you know what, I just need to be determined and just do it, and not worry about it. So my husband was talking to me. He was like, so when you start putting your work out, because I'm gonna try for an agent as well and try to go traditional route first, just for various reasons. But anyway, and he was like, what are you gonna do when you get your first rejection letter? Are you gonna frame it? And I was like, you know what, I will. And if I ever get a book published and I ever get a 1-star review, I'm printing it and I'm framing it. Being like,
yeah,
I've made
got
it.
wall space.
Yeah,
I like what Stephen King did, that he had a nail, and that he just like kept popping them on the nail on the wall, and he had like a thing of this, like of rejection letters.
Yes.
That's some snarkiness. That's some attitude. It takes a special kind of person to be able to knock them down and tell them no and keep going. But that's the nice thing with indie. I went into it completely ignorant, and that's why I did it, because I was fearless. And then that thing came out, and I opened it up to page 4 and found my first typo, and then the freaking I was like, I am so glad nobody's read this yet, because I made a mistake. Made so many mistakes, but that's how you learn. And so it's a nice way to be able to make the mistakes with fairly little impact because people don't know who you are.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So admittedly, this is something that I haven't really looked into, but I've been curious about. So say like you just opened it up and you're like, how could I have missed this small typo that was there, like maybe a comma or whatever? Do you make the change and then re-upload, or is that just way too hard? Because it sounds like it might be on the more difficult end of the spectrum to do that.
Well, if you find a mistake, there's going to be more. There's going to be more. You think there's one, don't upload at the first mistake. Get a proofreader. Get a proofreader. Get a proofreader and have them find the 90 other mistakes that you're going to find so you don't have to upload 90 more times. Because if you find one, there's going to be more. So
Oh yeah.
get the proofreader. But if it is just ends up being just one mistake, I have one in my Kindle version. I have regrettable instead of regrettably for
Ah.
Lily, and I didn't get it formatted again because whatever. But with the Immortal, ouch. I mean, when I got it edited, but I didn't do the proofread. And when my narrator for the book read it, she's like, Eva, do you want me to point out the mistakes? And I said, yes, please. And I should show you the book. I mean, all of like the little, of all the red marks in it. I was like,
Oh.
damn girl, thank you. And I pulled that sucker and I absolutely redid it and paid for, the Ingram Sparks you have to pay
Mhm.
to reload it. I absolutely redid that once it was corrected because
Oh,
I
nice.
eliminated this guy instead of illuminating it. I had a tub down the throat instead of a tube down the throat 6 times on one page.
Ooh.
Mistakes happen,
Oh yeah.
okay, but that's what really do have a software. That's how I learned to have a software read it aloud to me so I could hear the mistakes.
I like that. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest piece of advice I've heard is read your work out loud because you're gonna catch
But
the
no,
weird
have
stuff.
something else read it aloud to you
Oh, how
because
something
because
else?
I think the word like whipped and white, is it 1P or 2P? Which one's which? I will read it the way I think it is, but it's not the right one. Stirring or steering, because I'm dyslexic. So I'm like, I don't really know how this word is spelled to begin with, but when I listen to it, I know it's the wrong word.
Ah, okay. I like that. That's a good one. All right. Well, I'm gonna have the last thing be about your newest work that's coming out in January,
Mhm.
Gina. So, can you tell us what that's about? And then is that one on Kindle Vella as episodes? Is this just being released in January?
Yeah, it started off as a Kindle Vella, and Gina thinks her daddy's the devil, but he's something much older.
Oh.
Mm. So I finished off Lily, and it was short, and people were like, "What's next?" I'm like, "Well, I'll think of something, I guess. I don't know, figure out something." So I just started writing something, and I thought, "Man, I hope this works out," because there was no plan, there was no end in sight. I didn't know what was going to happen, but it ended up being quite a bit longer than Lily, and Lily does a crossover. You see her now as a teenager in this
Mhm.
one, and there's a crossover from the other book too. So all my stories are like a tree, and then they grow branches, but they all have something to do with one another, even though they're completely separate at the same time. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, Gina, she's she grows up with her mom, and it starts off with her getting in kind of an argument with her mom leaving her at a gas station at a
Oh.
7-Eleven and leaving, and up pulls this dark car, and she gets in it. And then you find out more about why she's getting in the car and what
Oh.
happens, and what
Okay.
she is and what her father is. Yeah, and it's dark fantasy as well, lots of action. And
Okay. Very
this
cool.
one's a bit more young adult, more teenager-ish.
Okay. I like that. Cool. So a little bit more on the because Gina's a teen, I'm guessing, if she's arguing with her
Right.
mom. Okay.
Right. So I mean, people say, "Well, what do you write?" I don't know. I write whatever comes out of
What I want.
what I want. Yeah, I write an interesting story. I don't There are no rules.
Oh,
Thank you, Neil Gaiman.
So are you working on anything currently right now?
Yes. Blood Bag Diaries is on Kindle Vella as well. And it's Mondays suck, especially if you're a VIP for a vampire. It's Kat is just aged out of the foster care system, and she quickly becomes homeless. And she wants to make some quick money. She sees there's an ad for the blood bank that always gives you cash for donations, or cash for is not a donation, but you know what I mean. There's a word
Yeah.
for bringing them blood. And so she's like, okay, let me try this. And there's a nurse there who asks her all these questions. Oh, dear, you don't have a family? You don't have any friends? You're homeless? We're going to mark you for our VIP program. And then instead of the blood coming out, something goes into her veins and she wakes up upside down naked in a slaughterhouse.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Kindle Vella, write that down.
Kindle Vella. Blood Bag Diaries. So it's like the Vampire Diaries, but Diaries of a Blood Bag.
Ah, nice. Well, that would be an interesting one. I can't wait to check it out.
And this is the only one where I've actually made notes in a notebook of stuff that's going to happen, because stuff keeps coming to me, but I don't have time to write because I have family visiting right now. So I'm all to the notebook.
Yes, the primitive ways, as I call it.
The primitive ways, yes. And I hope I can read my handwriting because, oh, Lordy, something's happened.
That seems to happen since keyboards are far more
really
popular.
I should have been a doctor, or I had a mild stroke. I don't know. Maybe I need to see one.
All right. So I have a link to E.G. Creel's author website and also to her Amazon page. You guys should go check out her works, and also go check out Diaries of a Blood Bag on Kindle Vella. So I want to thank you again for coming and joining and chatting with me today.
I love you so much. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. I hope everyone has a great day. And as always and forever, may you get lost in the book.